Happy July 4th, everyone. Welcome back to the Youth Ledger. I'm your host, Shiven Diwakar, and today we're taking a slightly different route. As I said, it's July 4th, Independence Day here in the United States. And whether you're celebrating with fireworks, grilled burgers, or just catching up on rest, I wanted to offer something a little reflective and a little fun, while still keeping it a bit nerdy in that economics meets policy kind of way. So today's episode is going to explore the story behind July 4th, some economic curiosities about America's founding and development, and a few fun facts that might just give you a new perspective on what this day really represents. Let's start with this. July 4th, 1776 is when the Continental Congress formally adopted the Declaration of Independence. But did you know the vote for independence actually happened on July 2nd? That's when 12 of the 13 colonies voted to break away from Britain. John Adams even wrote to his wife that July 2nd would be remembered forever, with parades and fireworks. Clearly, he was just 2 days off. Thomas Jefferson wrote most of the Declaration in just a couple of weeks. He was only 33 years old, and by the way, he wasn't thrilled with all the edits Congress made to his draft either. So it seems that the pain of committee reviews has truly stood the test of time. Now, let's talk history. You've probably heard no taxation without representation 1,000 times. But the economics of American independence ran deeper than just that. The colonists were frustrated not only with taxes, like the infamous Stamp Act and Tea Act, but also with British trade restrictions. They couldn't manufacture certain goods, couldn't trade freely with non-British partners, and were locked into what economists call a mercantilist system that benefited the mother country more than the colonies. In other words, independence wasn't just about freedom, it was about economic agency. The ability to control your own commerce, print your own currency, and make your own trade deals. Sound familiar? Well, this is still a conversation in the modern world, from Brexit to Bitcoin. Moving on to some lighter stuff, did you know 2 US presidents actually died on July 4th? John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, 2 great American heroes and the second and third presidents, both passed away on July 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration was signed. Talk about poetic timing. Also, America's first national holiday celebration didn't happen until 1870, nearly 100 years later. Actually, Congress initially made it official only to boost unity after the Civil War. And the famous fireworks import industry, it's worth over $2 billion today, with the vast majority of consumer fireworks coming from China. So yes, while we celebrate independence, globalization is still lighting up the skies. President Trump needs to get on that. Today, July 4th is often seen through 2 lenses. 1, as a symbol of American resilience and democratic ideals, and 2, as a reminder of how much further we still need to go. In recent years, people have asked tough questions. What does freedom mean today? Who gets to access opportunity? How do our founding values translate into modern policies on equity, immigration, voting rights, or economics? Those are big questions. And honestly, that's what this podcast is about. Not just breaking down bills or global news, but looking underneath those stories to ask, what are the values behind the systems we live in? So as you celebrate today, however you choose to, I challenge you to reflect not just on 1776, but on 2025. What kind of country are we becoming? What kind of systems are we building? And how can we, especially as young people, play a role in shaping what independence means now? With all that said, I'm extremely proud to be an American, and I love our nation despite its many, many flaws. In my heart, we will always be number one. Thank you for joining me for this special episode of The Youth Ledger. I hope you learned something new, or at least found a new way to look at the 4th of July beyond just the barbecue. If you found this episode insightful, subscribe and follow. The TikTok and YouTube pages are now up, so take a look at those as well. And as always, please share your thoughts below. Stay curious, stay engaged, and enjoy the fireworks tonight, literally and metaphorically. Signing out, this is Shiven Diwakar. See you next time on The Youth Ledger.